Now, what speed are you going to play this at? In other words,
I'll do 130.
Is that a decent speed?
Yeah, I mean, to learn it, once you've got it at 130, it's really easy to speed it up. Or even 120, but I'm gonna do 130 right now. Let's do just the accompaniment pattern first. You want to just memorize how this feels. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And again. Just stay in E until it feels good. And be light, you know. Try not to be super stiff. It's an endurance music. Just imagine you're a marathon runner, a long distance runner. You're not, you know, you have to be very relaxed if you're gonna run for a long time. And that's probably the most difficult thing about this music. Now, when we go to, I want you to spend some time and think about your options as far as transitions, because it's hard to, you know, jump with both hands. Might be the easiest way to do it though. It's just a skill we haven't really worked on very much, but so you have two options. Think about, you're going from E major to B major. So you can, now first of all, the bass line has to stay the same. So that, you have to be able to do that no matter what. You're going from E major to B major. The right hand though, you have a couple of options. We can go like this and jump exactly with the left hand, or we can do this, which is less motion but maybe more thinking, which is first inversion B. So in other words, you're going 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? Probably more, I don't know. Or jumping with root position, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and jump, right? It's up to you what feels better. And again, don't worry about the fingering down here too much. As long as you're playing the right notes, that's the main thing. And then, so going from that, so construct what you think is best and practice that. So I want you to practice each of these chords by themselves, just like we just did the E major one. Once you feel comfortable with E major, then just, if you choose this first inversion, B, just play that for a while, and same pattern until you feel comfortable with it. Again, memorize it. I don't want you to have to, it'll help if you're looking at your fingers and not at the page. The chord progression is not that deep. And then going from, I guess that'll really inform when if you choose this first inversion B major, when you go at measure, what is that, 31, to C sharp minor, you know, you're gonna wanna do that just to keep the first inversion. If you do go with the root position, you wanna keep with the root position. And then obviously with the B flat as well. So anyway, yeah, choose what you're gonna do and then practice them individually. And then once you can do that comfortably with the metronome, take the tempo down and then try to do those transitions. Right? You know, transition between E and B, just back and forth with E and B. That's the hardest one, by the way, I think. But then transition between B and F sharp. Just take two chords that are right next to each other, and go back and forth between them until it feels comfortable, which it will eventually. Now the intro. Okay, so it's really important to forget everything that you know or think you know about this music. We are rebuilding a foundation. The way that I write this stuff out is not a way that is almost anybody writes it out. It's not common to write it this way. because it's a lot of ink more than anything. I'm writing out every single beat so that you can see it as a concept, which is really important to understanding. Once you understand the concept, we can go to the more efficient way of writing it. But I'm a big believer in how I present this. So this is shuffle or swing, which you think of being, very loose. But the way that I present it is in a very strict way, because once you can play it strict, then you can kind of have more fun with it. If you can't play it strict, you can't have very much fun with it. You're sort of trapped with this fuzzy concept of what it is, which is no fun. So with this, especially the first lick, there's this timeline, right? And if you look at it from the beginning, rest, 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 note, rest, note, 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 note. So these are very straight. Think of it like Bach, da, 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 da. Also with that first lick, I want to change the fingering a little bit, make it a little bit easier. If you play, it's just a B major chord. All the notes in the intro lick are a B major chord. So if you play it 1, 2, and 3, bum, rest, ba, da, ba, da. It's a little bit easier to get to that E major chord. Okay? So when we are practicing with the metronome, think about those first 3 beats of rest also. So if I go 1, 2, 3, rest. Okay? Just do that over and over. And end with the left hand too. 1, 2, 3, rest. Just do that a bunch of times. 1, 2, 3, And when you feel good about that, then get into the accompaniment. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Pop. If you can get that far, you're in good shape. Again, it's a little bit slow. I would even, for you, start a little bit slower than this. 110, 120. We're at 130 right now. Because, again, once you can play it evenly and it's straight in your head and you got these 3 beginning rests that you're acknowledging, once you can do that, speeding it up is a piece of cake. Once it's in your fingers. And then the next thing. So, to practice this next lick, so there's notes on the first beat here. Forget about the first notes. Just count it as a rest just so that you can get it down. So if you go 1, 2, 3, rest. Okay. Let's do that again. Because it's almost the same rhythm as the first lick. And if you don't get those first 3 beats of rest, it'll kind of mess it up in your brain. And we don't want that. So again, measure 5. 1, 2, 3, rest. And just end there. Again, 1, 2, 3. Okay. And once you can do that, 1, 2, 3. Only then will you have a prayer in the world. And memorize this stuff. You can memorize this because it's hard enough because it's moving around. We're not used to moving around very much. But once you have it memorized, then you can start to put it together. So let me do the whole intro. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4. That's the most difficult part of the whole thing. Once you get through that, life's a breeze. And And let me write the fingering on there too, because the fingering is really important. Consistency.